Now I am going to discuss about the external morphology of Calotes vesicolor. So the Calotes vesicolor is the commonly called a garden lizard. Coming to the introduction of Calotes, the Calotes vesicolor is commonly called a garden lizard. The body is elongated, slender, and looking like a lizard, and it is divisible into four main regions, that is, head, neck, trunk, and tail region. The male Calotes is brightly colored with a golden yellow with a greenish tinge, and the throat is scarlet red and often with a black transverse bars. So because of the presence of the red color, the golden lizard is also called bloodsucker. But the female is not so brightly colored when compared to the male. The male is larger and stronger than the female. It measuring about 35 centimeter in length, including its tail. Let us see the systematic classification of Calotes vesicolor. The Calotes vesicolor is also commonly called garden lizard. They are coming under the phylum Chordata because of the presence of notochord and dorsal tubular nerve cord. And they are coming under the subphylum Vertebrata because of the presence of vertebral column. And they are coming under the division Gnathostomata because of the presence of the jaws, and the class Reptilia with scaly vertebrates, and the subclass Diapsida, the skull with two temporal opening which are separated by the postorbital and the squamosal, and they are coming under the order Squamata with horny epidermal scales or the shields, and the family Agamidae, that is the limbs are normal and the teeth are differentiated, and the genus Calotes and the species Calotes vesicolor. Then coming to the general characteristics of Calotes, the Calotes vesicolor, it is commonly called as the garden lizard. The Calotes vesicolor is commonly found in the gardens, hence it is commonly called a garden lizard. It is also known as bloodsucker because of the red coloration of the neck. But it does not suck the blood. The coloration of the neck making the name bloodsucker, and it is a true land vertebrates. So they are to consider as a true land vertebrates, and it is a cold-blooded animal. That is, it is a poikilothermic animals. They cannot change their internal body temperature according to their external environmental temperature. So they are called the cold-blooded animals, and they are the lung-breathing animals and also creeping tetrapods. That is with four limbs. So they are called tetrapods, and there are, that is, the two pairs of limbs are there which are pentadactyl, that is five digits are there, and it is an arboreal animals. They mostly spend their life in the plants, so they that is trees, so they are considered as the arboreal animals, and they are good climbers. It is often seen running swiftly on the ground, and it can also swim in the water when there is a need. They are the good climbers, and they are insectivores. They mainly feed on the insects, so they are called as the insectivores, and they are the oviparous animals because they lay eggs, hence it is referred as the oviparous animal. The body of the Calotes is divisible into head, neck, trunk, and tail. It is elongated and is slender, which is covered with tough scales. It contains a crust of spines uh, in the mid dorsal line of their body, and the body consists of four regions, that is head, neck, trunk, and tail regions are there. Then coming to the head region. Here the head region is triangular in shape, and the anterior end of the head is produced into a projection called the snout, that is conical snout, and it bears a wide or slit-like opening called the mouth. The mouth is situated at the anterior end of the snout. The mouth is bounded by two jaws, namely upper jaw and a lower jaw, and a pair of external nostrils which is situated dorsal to the mouth, and there are two eyes which are located in the head, and each eye is protected by two eyelids, namely upper eyelid and lower eyelid, and a transparent membrane which covers the eye is called the third eyelid or the nictitating membrane. Then there is a opening, that is membrane like structures called a tympanic membrane, which is just behind the eyes, and it is a circular patch of skin that is called the tympanic membrane, also present in the head region. The neck of Calotes vesicular is very short and it is narrow. The main function of the neck is to connect the head with the trunk region. Next, trunk. The trunk is an elongated region of the calotes. It is strongly convex in the dorsal side, and it is laterally compressed, but it is flattened ventrally. The trunk bears a pair of limbs. The limbs which is in the anterior portion is called the forelimbs, and the posterior region is called the hind limbs. Yeah. Each forelimbs has an upper arm, the forearm, and the hand. So the each forelimbs is divisible into three regions, that is upper arm, which is also called a brachium, the forearm, that is antebrachium, and the hand, which is called a manus. The hand region is further divisible into three regions called wrist, palm, and the digits. The wrist, it is also called the corpus, and the palm region is also called a metacarpus. And the digits, there are five horny clawed digits present in calotes. Then the first digit of the forelimb is also called as pollex. Then, like that of the forelimbs, the hind limbs also has three main regions: the thigh, shank, and the foot. The thigh is also called the femur, the shank is also called the crest, and the foot is called the pes. The foot region is further divisible into three main regions, namely ankle, instep, and the toes. The ankle is also called the torsus, and the instep, that is metatarsus, and the toes. The toes, there are five digits which are clawed. The first digit in the toes is called the hallux, like that of the first digit of the forelimbs, that is pollex. Here, the first digit of the toes is called the hallux. Next one is the tail region. The tail is very long and cylindrical. It is tapering towards the end. At the junction of the trunk and the tail, on the ventral surface, there is a slit-like transverse aperture called the cloacal aperture, through which the excretory waste will be expelled out. Next, we will see about the skin and the exoskeleton of Calotes vesicolor. The skin of the scalotes is dry because it is devoid of glands, hence it is not moist, and the body is entirely covered by the epidermal, horny, imbricate, and backwardly directed scales. The scales are unequal in size and which are periodically shed in flakes. On the other hand, a prominent shield which covers the parietal foramen and two spines are present above each air openings. Over the head and the trunk along the mid-dorsal line is a characteristic crest of large spine-like movable scales which directed backward and gradually diminishing in their size posteriorly. And there are also melanophores which lying deep in the dermis and iridocytes and in the liphophores, and it is able to change their color. The color may change with the environment, which helps in the serving for the purpose of concealment. Next, scales. The scales is the exoskeletal origin. The scales forms a continuous covering over the body. So the body is completely covered by the scales, and the scales on the body of the calotes is of two types. One is the larger scales, and another one is the smaller scales. The sensory structures in the form of bristles are also present on both the scales, that is in the larger scales and the smaller scales. The sensory structures, that is the bristles, are found, which is called the prototrichus. And each scale is a plate-like structure which is supported by a bony plate or the ossicles. So the scales are supported by the ossicles. And next one is the claws. The claws, they are present at the tip of the fingers, that is the digits of the garden lizards. The tip of the digits are provided with sharp claws, and each claws are made up of dorsal and ventral scale-like horny plates. The dorsal plate is called anguis and the ventral plate is called subanguis. The ventral plate is flattened. Uh, Both these plates are derived from the Malpighian layer and is placed in such a way that their coverage should form a sharp claw. The cellular structure of the skin is similar to that of the uromastrix. So the claws are present in the digits of the calotes. And this is about the external morphology of calotes vesicolor. And thank you for listening.